Hello everybody. Ordinarily I like to begin these videos with a little bit of fun, but that hardly seems appropriate today in the light of the very serious things that are going on in the fragrance community at the moment. As I'm sure you know, in recent weeks we've seen our beloved fragrance community descend into an orgy of internecine warfare, threatening the existence of the fragcom as we know it. Yesterday I, Mr. Smelly, intervened to try and bring the two warring factions together. I arranged a meeting between them, and I was hoping that some kind of compromise, some kind of understanding could be reached to save the fragrance community. Unfortunately, at the agreed meeting place, when the two sides came within sight of one another, this is what happened. Okay, hello, welcome back everybody. So straight into it today, it's going to be the top 10 fall or autumn fragrances recommended by me. The disclaimer then on this one is these are ones that I happen to own and like and that work for me. I'm not telling anyone to rush out and buy them, and please don't blind buy things if you can avoid it at all. Try and test everything and make sure you like it before you buy it. But these are ones that I think are my favourite 10 autumn fragrances. So what do we mean by an autumn fragrance? In my list, I'm going to try and just go with fragrances that conjure up an autumnal feeling for me. So there are some other fragrances that are all-rounders that aren't going to make the list. Things like Creed Aventus, maybe Dior Sauvage if you like that. These would work fine in the autumn and they could be in your top 10. But there's nothing particularly specifically autumnal about them. I'm looking for scents with maybe a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of warmness, and maybe some smokiness, things that, and maybe ones that conjure up those kind of autumnal colours of amber and brown, falling leaves, that kind of thing, and for whatever reasons just give me an autumnal feeling. So here we go, a couple of honourable mentions then. The first honourable mention is going to be Midnight in Paris. I've got the Eau de Parfum here, and the Eau de Toilette smells very similar. Some people say it performs a bit less well than the Eau de Parfum. A fantastic fragrance with leather, benzoin, and some very nice deep rich notes. Why is it not in the official top 10? Because it's discontinued and it's getting a little bit trickier to find, particularly the Eau de Parfum, and I find that a bit annoying. If it was readily available, it'd be probably very high up in my top 10. If you've got it, or if you can get it easily, well worth checking out. But I'm just a little bit worried that it's discontinued and I don't want to send people on a wild goose chase. And my second and final honourable mention is going to be Givenchy Gentleman Only Intense. I've just got a decant here of around about 20 mils. A lovely, spicy, woody, oriental scent. We've got some mandarin here. We've got patchouli, we've got birchwood and black pepper and tonka bean. It's a really nice daytime scent, I think. Longevity is quite good. I don't think it projects massively, but it's a nice, understated, refined scent. And it's got that somewhat autumnal kind of feel with the spiciness, taking us out of the super fresh scents that we might use. Great daytime scent, and really just because I don't happen to own it in a proper bottle, I'm putting it outside the top 10 as an honourable mention. So into the top 10 proper for fall autumn 2016, and these are in no particular order until we perhaps get to the last two or three. Certainly probably the top three are my favourite three and the top one is my absolute favourite. The rest in no particular order really. So number 10, from the house of Laurence de Monts, and it's Les Senteurs Gourmandes Tender Madeleine. So this is a gourmand scent, and it smells like a Madeleine cake from France, apparently. It's got vanilla, and that's in the base. On top of that, though, it's got some orange and some almond. So there's a really nice little bit of freshness from the orange and in some ways the almond, or let's say bitterness from those. And there's a lovely sweet vanilla accord there. It's a little bit like Mandorlo di Sicilia from Acqua di Parma, but I find it a little bit more wearable, not so heavy and cloying, and of course a fantastic kind of theme, comforting as the nights draw in and the weather gets a little bit more chilly. I might be doing a full review soon. I mentioned it in one of my inexpensive scents list recently. Fantastic scent. Number 9 then, it's going to be Acqua di Parma Colonia Leather. This one has got Brazilian orange, lime, it's got cedarwood, it's got rose, and of course in the base it's got leather. So it's a bit like you took one of the Acqua di Parma Colonias, maybe Colonia Essenza, and crossbred it with Tuscan leather by Tom Ford. It's got a fantastic leather note. but Tuscan leather can be a bit heavy for some people. You might only want to reach for that in the depths of winter. This one, more versatile and a bit more wearable. So light and fresh, but with that fantastic ashy leather undertone. Just look at the colour of the bottle. It just says autumn, doesn't it? It's a fantastic scent, very expensive, more expensive than most Acqua di Parma ones, but maybe worth the money, and a really delightful scent that I'm enjoying and looking forward to wearing in the autumn. Next up, at number 8, we've got Dunhill Icon. It was in my summer list too, but that's okay. These lists should evolve, but they shouldn't dramatically change so that everything gets scrapped every time you do a new list, because the ones that are really good stay good, and some of them are versatile enough to work in different seasons. So Dunhill Icon has got a lovely citrus neroli kind of opening, but there's quite a lot of pepperiness in there, and there's a little dusting of oud apparently. Also there's some lavender, and there's some really nice vetiver and woody notes in there. So that means that it's a little bit like Terre d'Hermes, but maybe just with a little bit more citrusness at the beginning, a little bit more freshness. So it'd be ideal for the daytime in the autumn, but it's got enough spicy pepperiness to be absolutely ideal for autumn days and maybe even autumnal nights. So Dunhill Icon, still one of my absolute favourites. I'm getting great performance, and by the way, every scent in this list has at least good performance. They all last well and project reasonably well. They might not all be beast mode, but they're all good performance, and you want that as the weather gets more chilly. Dunhill Icon, well worth checking out if you haven't already. Next up then, we've got another one that's been in previous lists. It's Ragbar Latafa. Okay, so this scent is a fantastic Middle Eastern scent. Smells a bit like 24 Gold by Scent Story. It's got a lot of it's got incense in there, it's got vanilla, it's got a note of sugar. I don't know what sugar exactly smells like, but it does smell very sweet, this scent, and it's just a really comforting, warming, a little bit exotic scent. Can be got for very cheap prices. It's absolutely ideal for the autumn, day or night, and a very rich scent, but somewhat wearable, not overpowering. So a great introduction to the world of oud scents for the uninitiated such as me. Coming in at number 6 then, it's Valentino Intense, a fantastic release from the House of Valentino, the flanker to the original Valentino Uomo. We've got a top note of mandarin, and underneath that we've also got some clary sage, and underneath that we have vanilla, tonka bean and some iris in this one. A really rich and interesting scent. It's a little bit like Dior Oud or Dior Intense or the original Valentino Uomo, but I think this has a really seductive, dark, rich character of its own, and it's not just a copy of those. It's a fantastic scent, well worth checking out. Eau de Parfum concentration, so it lasts well, and it really conjures up those autumn nights and it's going to be really good to wear on autumn nights when the weather is getting a little bit chilly and things are getting dark, but maybe you don't want to wear Dior Oud Intense, you want to be a bit different. Valentino Uomo Intense, highly recommended. So we're drawing into autumn, and of course always it can be a little bit melancholy, a little bit sad that summer's over. Luckily for me though, I am going on a holiday to Lanzarote for a week at the end of September, so that's something for me to look forward to. I'm not feeling quite like summer's over yet, and I hope that I can conduct myself a little bit better than I did on my last trip to Lanzarote. Unfortunately one afternoon I'm afraid I'd had a bit much to drink, and I got caught urinating in the pool, but I won't be doing it again. The lifeguard blew his whistle so loud and gave me such a shock I almost fell in. So that's something for me to look forward to, but back to the thoughts of autumn, and let's see what's coming in at number 5. So number 5, it's Bentley for Men Intense. This is a very rich, boozy, masculine scent. It opens up with notes of rum and clary sage and bergamot. Underneath that, we have some patchouli, we have incense, and we have vanilla and leather. So it's a very rich, masculine scent. It would work fine for the depths of winter, in fact. But now that autumn's come around, I'm looking forward to cracking this open and spraying it as soon as I get the chance. As soon as it gets a little bit chilly and windy, I think this is a really masculine scent. Not for the faint of heart, but if you like incense, if you like boozy notes, and if you're a bit daring, this could be a great one to try. Perhaps more for the older gentlemen, not the youngsters, but hey, if you want to wear it, you can, however old or young you are. Number 4 then, a new one that you haven't heard me talk about. I've never talked about this house before in my videos. This is Monts Intense Cafe Eau de Parfum. Got a little bit on a card here. This is a fantastically seductive coffee-based scent with a lot of rose and vanilla. It's just so well blended, very strong. Longevity and projection are really good. It's got a bottle that has a somewhat autumnal colour, I always think, and this would be absolutely perfect to be cozying up when the weather gets a little bit colder, perhaps with your significant other or somebody else's significant other. or even if you're on nights out and you just want to smell appealing to people. It's almost bordering on gourmand, but with that rose and stuff, I don't think it's quite just a gourmand. There might even be a tiny bit of oud. It's just absolutely fantastically well done. People have said that it's a little bit like Bond New Harlem or Rojas Man, but actually of a higher quality in terms of the ingredients and the kind of coffee note that you get in this one. So Monts Intense Cafe, a great option for autumn. Not super cheap, a niche scent, but not as expensive as some niche brands. Number 3 then, we have Creed Royal Ode. So on the top of this one, we've got bergamot, pink pepper and lemon. Underneath that, we've got some sandalwood, some galbanum, cedar, musk, and of course oud, but it's not an oud heavy scent. Oud is just a very minor note actually in this composition. Fantastic woody, peppery, somewhat citrus flavoured scent that is really, really refined and elegant. I was almost toying with Bois de Portugal, but I decided to go with this one. Maybe I'll save Bois de Portugal for a winter scent, but I might wear that in the autumn too. So Royal Ode by Creed, again, not cheap, but a fantastic, refined, regal scent that will really work well if you want to look classy and have a little bit of depth and woodiness in your scent when you're out and about this autumn. We're nearly there then. Number 2. We had to have something, didn't we, from the house of Dior. Now, I left out Dior Homme or Dior Homme Intense, which would be great picks for the autumn, but I've gone with Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum. Okay, so there's only 3 notes in this one. Top note of bergamot. In the mid, we have got myrrh, and in the base is vetiver. A very dense, rich smell with a little bit of greenness at the beginning, just to lighten things up a bit. It's quite a mature, or at least formal smelling kind of scent. Really great for formal occasions, nights out, probably not for daytime use. Beast mode performance on this, fantastic longevity. Every scent in this video is good and strong and lasts well, but this one is exceptional. A great scent, and if you can get your nose on this one, I really recommend it for autumn and of course for winter too. A great scent from the house of Christian Dior. We don't hear enough talk about this one in the community. So what's going to be number 1? It's a cheapie. It's going to be Bogart Pour Homme from the house of Jack Bogart. This fragrance has bergamot, it has lavender, there's something listed as floral, masculine notes, and we've got tonka and vanilla in this one. Overall, a lot of people talk about a kind of cherry tobacco theme with this one. So what we've got here is a really nice tonka sweetness, something a little bit reminiscent of fresh tobacco leaves or fresh pipe tobacco, with a little bit of a kind of cherry note or some kind of fruity sweet note in there, and perhaps a bit of a barbershop feel from the lavender. I'll just spray a little bit there. Yeah, it's such a delightful scent. It could easily be much more expensive. It could even be a niche scent in my humble opinion. Fantastic longevity and projection, doesn't cost much money, it's rich, it's got depth. You could go with it for a daytime, go with it for work if you're light on the trigger, and if you want to pump a little bit more juice out, it'll be a great nighttime scent. Seductive, not talked about, not many people wearing it. Check out Bogart Pour Homme, it's my number 1, and I'm really going to be wearing this one a hell of a lot during autumn of 2016. So thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you soon with another video. Remember, whatever we're doing in life, let's project. See you next time. Bye bye.